I'm Eddie Michelson,
I'm Lucas Anderton.
and this is Go Wonk Yourself, episode 12.
Episode 12. We made it to episode 12, Eddie.
You know, every time it gets more and more shocking. We have so much to talk about today.
We do.
I don't know if you've been following the news as closely as I have this week, but it has been pretty nuts.
Conservatives suck at Twitter. What a
They're
revelation.
so bad at Twitter.
Tamika
I think every
Lauren.
conservative should be very disappointed in themselves for how they handled Twitter beef this week. Not because I disagree with what they're saying per se, but just because they're so bad at handling situations involving social media and how they disagree with each other.
I mean, I totally agree. I think it's funny when the four young conservatives who are famous on Twitter all decide they hate each other.
Over
And-
Kanye West.
Yeah, over Kanye West. How did that happen? What a powerful man.
Oh my God.
So, I don't know. It's definitely been a wild ride on Twitter. You once again have been on Twitter too much this week. We're going to have to wean you off. This is coming from the guy who wrote an op-ed about how bad social media is. So,
I can't stay away from it now.
yeah, we can tell.
My name's Eddie Michelson, and I'm the conservative on Go Wonk Yourself.
My name is Lucas Anderton, and I am our token liberal.
So we first met actually before the school year started. We got randomly paired together as roommates. And so we met up over the summer at a little coffee shop. And we quickly started talking about politics and realized that we
don't agree on
We
anything.
don't agree on anything. Which is a great thing because we got to have some pretty lively discussions as the year started. And eventually we just decided to turn these discussions into something shareable.
Yeah, like I had wanted to do a podcast for a little while, and when Eddie and I were having like our political conversations, like when we were both in the dorm at night and stuff, one night I was just like, Eddie, we need to record these conversations. 2 days later, I forced him to buy a $200 microphone. Our microphones here. And we started recording those conversations. We somehow came up with the name Go Wonk Yourself. I don't even know how that happened. I think that was just something we already said. It was
Yeah, it was, I mean, as many people know, that our sort of unofficial mascot here at American University is the Wonk. There's the Eagles, but we're Wonks, essentially. So it's just kind of a funny, kind of provocative sort of name that we chose, and I think a lot of people liked it. And so I guess the way that this sort of took off is that we sort of started just by talking about whatever news stories we wanted to, and then just going into it from the liberal perspective and the conservative perspective. And now we've sort of gotten a pretty good grasp as to how we want the show to be and what we want it to sound like. So we have, as the week goes on, we hear stories. We like text each other and be like,
That
"This
needs
is
to be in the
yeah,
podcast.
This needs to be covered.
Eddie, we need to have an
talk about
episode
this."
tonight.
Yeah, and so we're kind of on the same wavelength in terms of what we'd like to talk about. We both like talking about sort of the political culture that we're living in right now. So I mean, right now we're sitting in the SIS building. This is usually the building of choice for when we're recording a podcast with someone other than us, because we would never subject someone to coming in our room. Basically,
Our biggest guest on the show so far was President Burwell, and everyone was like, "Are you gonna have her in your dirty dorm?" And we were like, "Not gonna happen."
Absolutely not. In terms of the direction we want to go, we want to keep doing that. We want to keep making political discussions fun and make it
Especially
engaging.
for young people.
Yeah.
Like our generation is considered apathetic, and we're proving that wrong. We're making young people care about politics. It's not fun to read the news every morning, but what is fun is to listen to your favorite podcast and catch up on the news. But I mean, like Eddie was saying, like we have our professors coming up to us and saying, "I listened to your podcast last night. It was great," like and stuff like that. We have the university has been so supportive. Like half the administration team followed our Twitter, which is a little scary.
It's a little scary.
But I mean, it's just been great, and it's great to work with the campus since that was the root of it all. Was American University. That's where Eddie and I met, and that's our home for the next 3 years. So to have their support means a lot to us.
Well, we certainly have a lot to talk about next week.
We
and
sure do.
I can't wait to see what else comes up between now and then, because this has been an absolutely insane week.
We might have a new president by then. President Pence, you coming? You getting ready?
I might be streaking the quad.
You might be streaking the quad.
Well, Lucas, go wonk yourself.
Well, Eddie, go wonk yourself.